Hey, what's up, everybody? Just finished up another great conversation, this time with Lexi Varecka of Flex Yoga right here in Buffalo. We talked about how she took a passion for yoga that she basically gained in college. She had ended up moving out to the West Coast and, loved Buffalo, loved the community here, and wanted to bring something new back to the Western New York. And it's a great conversation about entrepreneurship, about following your passion. Honestly, if you want to learn about yoga, the do's and the don'ts, really just fun conversation. She's somebody who really handles growth with grace. I mean, she just opened a second studio within 1 year and just sounds like she has things kind of figured out, or at least has figured out how to really balance everything. So somebody that we can all learn from. So enjoy this episode. I think you'll really enjoy it. As always, this episode is brought to you by my law firm, Richmond, personal injury attorneys. We hope you never need us, but if you do, we got your back. Enjoy. All right, should we start talking now?
Let's start.
All right, cool. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
I saw that Flex Yoga just had their 1 year anniversary.
1 year in the books. We've done it.
All right. So did it go by fast or slow?
A little bit of both.
Okay. What do you mean?
Kind of super quick.
Yeah.
But also we accomplished so much in 1 year.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a long amount of time, it felt like.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've had no time to almost breathe in a sense, but it's been so much fun the whole time that we've had so many great events. Yeah. Fast and slow.
Because I think about this even with my own business, like, do you want it to go fast, or do you try to sometimes make it slow down a little bit?
I want to keep it slow. I want to enjoy it and be present for all the things that we do and really take it in, see our community grow in real time and be there for it, and not rush through it.
Yeah. It can be hard to do that, right?
Absolutely.
You have to, I think, be really conscious about slowing things down. And even then, it's you're just you have to keep at it, keep working at it. Life happens fast.
Yeah. It's almost addicting to you. You want to keep going, keep adding things, and just taking your time to do it thoughtfully and intentionally is important.
Especially when we haven't gotten into it yet, and we're going to talk about it, but I presume you're very passionate about what you do, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think when you're super passionate about what you do, it doesn't seem like work anymore. It's just you're just going through life, right? Whereas I don't know, I know we were talking a little bit before we started, like me, I'm sure, before you had your own business, you have you work for somebody else.
Right.
And you're you have that feeling probably where it's okay, I just got to get to Friday. Then I got the weekend. And I feel like when you start your business, especially if you're really passionate about it, just kind of all just rolls.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And being able to find that off switch, because no one's really telling you have to turn it off.
Yeah.
Is something you have to be thoughtful about. So it's a cool change, but you have to be super mindful on pausing, resting.
Yeah.
My body's important for my job, so taking the time to rest that after teaching a bunch of hot classes is important.
Yeah.
So it's a different setting than a 9 to 5, pushing for the weekend. I work on the weekends. I work in the evenings, 6 a.m., 7:30 at night. So making time for my schedule to be out of the studio and just be present with my family. Going back to your point too, I worked a full-time job. Yoga was my part-time job, almost my hobby. Now I'm doing it full-time, so making time for other hobbies too.
That's hard.
Other things, yeah.
Okay, so let's go back.
Okay.
All right, so you've been in business for a year.
Yep.
Talk to me about kind of your origin story when it comes to with yoga, and then we'll kind of lead into entrepreneurship.
Okay. So I got super involved in yoga after I graduated college. So 2018, I finished a semester early. So December through May, I had a gap year almost, you could call it, before everyone else in my class graduated.
Yeah.
And so I was still in Washington, D.C., had some time before I figured out what to do for a full-time job. And there was a yoga teacher training being ran through Core Power, which is a studio I was going to often just for fun in college, practicing yoga on my own. I did this training, I think it was 9 or 10 weeks. It's 200 hours. And I didn't think I'd actually teach yoga. I just wanted to learn more about the practice because in my own time, I fell in love with it. And it was more than just the physical aspect, which I kind of went to it for. Because a little bit even further back, I grew up cheerleading.
Okay.
So once college ended, I was done cheerleading. Yoga was the next kind of thing for me. And I fell in love with it deeper than that physical aspect, which I went to it for. I felt more calm, more connected with myself, more able to just take a breath before, making a big decision in life. So did that teacher training after school. Started teaching with my friends just for fun, the girls that I met in the program. Felt that sense of community start there. but still didn't teach like part-time or anything. Just took the knowledge, enjoyed it, and kind of kept it in my back pocket. I ended up moving to the West Coast. That's where I started my full-time job after college. My background was in business, or is in business and fashion. And so my full-time 9 to 5 was product development for a denim company, which was a super cool job.
Cool.
And then I taught yoga out there. So that's kind of how I got into it and started having it as a split career. Loved it. And a couple years later, after teaching a lot in the West Coast, I ended up coming back to the East Coast and getting myself back here and doing it full-time. Obviously, a lot more to it than just that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the background of how I got into yoga. It was really after school, after cheerleading, just something to stay limber, I guess. But it was so much more than that.
When you started, because I know, so you're an undergrad, you study business. Did you think you were ever going to start your own company? Like, did you have, like, when you were growing up, like, did you have, like, a lemonade stand or a paper route or, like, anything like that?
I thought there was an idea for a business. I don't know if I thought it would be yoga, but yes, there was some entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Even in undergrad, like, the idea of, like, having my own fashion brand or, like, designing things, a collection online could be super cool. So there was an idea there, but bringing it to the real world hadn't happened at that point.
Yeah. Okay, so then you move out to the West Coast. You were in LA, right? And what was it like being out there? What was like the yoga culture like out there? Like, how would you describe it?
So much fun. I just felt like everyone has this like abundance mindset. Everyone wants to grow and like push each other to just keep hustling, honestly. A lot of really cool creative people out there. My fashion experience kind of inspired me to see different things going on in the art world, in the fashion space, in the event space. Music is really heavy out there as well. So seeing how people behave on the West Coast was really inspiring. Just
It's
like
different
a
than the
different
East Coast.
perspective.
Yeah. Do you think like you became more West Coast? Like, are you like a blend now of like?
I think so.
Because I lived in New York City for a long time, and I have a lot of buddies and friends in LA. On the West Coast, it's a very different culture, and different mindset.
It's easygoing, creative. There's always something to do. There's always something new on the horizon. So it definitely impacted me as a human and how I interact with the world.
Yeah.
And I think I was able to bring some of that, easygoing nature back to Western New York.
And I'm going to get to we're going to call it migration back to Western New York, because I did something very similar, but I still want to kind of like take you back to when you're in LA. It seems like you're perfecting your craft, essentially. Did you look at it that way at the time? Like, at what point did you start thinking like, this is something I really love. Like, I would like to kind of like make I don't necessarily make a business, but make a living out of this. Like, how did that happen?
I think the seed was definitely planted out there. Even just being exposed to different events and things that kind of stuck with me as I came back out here, like, oh, I'd like to do that for my own event going forward. It was a bit more cutthroat in terms of competition out there. And all my family's here, like my family's been very supportive now that I'm back home with the studio.
Yeah.
So having the extra set of hands here was helpful. So I thought about it on the West Coast, but bringing it to reality was a bit more of a challenge. But I started to get inspired out there and think of how I could bring this back home. So the seed was definitely planted. And I worked a lot of really cool events out there, so that I feel like I brought back into, we do all of these like weekly events. We have these Flex Fridays. So every Friday we do something fun. So the things I've seen out there, I feel like I carried with me back here.
What was it, or why, what were you thinking when you're out there and you're like, okay, like this could be cool. This concept would work well in Buffalo, or Buffalo doesn't have this, why, where did like the desire to bring it back to Buffalo come from?
I think coming home, like you don't know what you have till it's gone, right? You come back home and then I'm like, oh, I'm missing that on some level. It was more of a lifestyle out there that was more common. And I think showing people that, there's a market for beat-based sculpt, for hot yoga, more than just the physical side of it. I think we have a nice range of classes that we offer, and taking that wellness focus into the event space. So more than this, just coming in for a 60-minute workout, you're having something, a personal connection with your instructor or the community. I think feeling that in my own body on the West Coast, I wanted to bring that out here.
That makes sense. So when you were out there, did you start planning the business out here before you moved?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, like to what extent? Like how had you like toured spaces here, or were you just kind of like creating a business plan? Where were you at?
Business plan, thinking about how I would like structure my team, what I would want to offer, the name of the brand I had for a while, and then just kind of bringing it to life when I got back here. Like, so looking for a space, running a job ad on Indeed, like looking for instructors, interviewing people, auditioning people, making a Pinterest board of how I wanted it to look, and then going to people and saying, hey, I want arched mirrors. How much will it cost to cut these mirrors out? How do I get lights behind them? What do I have to do to capture this like infrared heat that I felt on the West Coast? Like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
What's the best brand for that? So just kind of like really doing the research and running the numbers and going for it.
Well, you studied business. Like, there's a lot of entrepreneurs who actually, like me, who like did not study business. It's good. I think it's good to be a little naive when you're planning a business. It's probably a good thing. But it sounds like you were pretty organized. Like you were like, hey, I got to make sure that this works financially, and here's all the things I got to research. How long was like the whole process before you actually came back and started like putting it together?
It came together honestly really quick.
How quick is quick?
Like I got the keys to our studio, I think in January, and we were open by the end of March.
Damn. Okay.
But like I started looking at the spot on Halloween era, like the year before. So that was 2024. We opened last year, 2025. So January got the keys last year, March open. So, but there's a lot of background stuff before you actually enter the space.
Yeah.
But it came together quick. And even with our new location, I think we got in there in February and we just full speed ahead, opened the doors last Saturday. So
I love that. So when you talked about, I think you have like multiple certifications, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like what goes into that? It sounds like it's like hundreds and hundreds of hours.
It's a lot.
Right? Like, yeah. And like, talk to me about that, because I personally get confused because like, there's so many different types of yoga and like different types of certifications. Like how did you choose the specialty that you went into? Like can you talk about all the training, because it's a lot?
Yes. Okay. So there's Yoga Alliance, which is like the overarching headquarters of yoga. So any like real yoga certification you go through is going to be accredited by Yoga Alliance.
Okay.
Because I had gone to Core Power and they're a reputable studio, they have this 200-hour power yoga teacher training. That's the most like common certification, like yoga cert we call it,
Sure.
In the industry. So that will cover a typical vinyasa yoga practice, which is breath-led. You're moving one breath to one movement. There's things called sun salutations. So sun A and sun B is really common in this power flow. So that's what the 200-hour will get you. You're covering the history of yoga, how to cue to breath and movement in the body, anatomy, alignment, and a little bit of yoga philosophy.
Yeah.
And so I did it in person. You're meeting with another group of people that are learning the same thing with you. You read, you practice like partner teaching, verbally getting the words out of your mouth, like how to set up a playlist. So you spend 200 hours doing that. You also take other yoga classes. So you take notes on like the experience and what felt good, what felt different to you. Just observing, because there are so many different types of yoga.
Yeah.
So that's like the base level that I started with. And then once I moved to the West Coast, Core Power offered a 50-hour yoga extensions program. Mm-hmm. So that just went deeper into like how to theme a class, how to write a playlist, how to sequence logically. Because there are like formulas and ways to structure a power yoga class. You start with an intro and you warm the body up, and then you get them moving a little bit faster. There's like a peak you kind of follow.
Yeah.
So kind of refining that, you spend 50 hours, same thing, with a group of people, practice teaching, diving deeper into that curriculum.
Okay.
So that was my 50-hour for that. And then you can go in different avenues for any other like formats. So there's restorative yoga, which is never really heated. There's a lot of props that support you. It's more of like a mental reset. Mm-hmm. You have like pillows almost. They're called bolsters, where you're having them underneath you for full support. And And it gets you into this almost meditative state where you're like ready to sleep. Like I teach a 7:30 restorative class on like Thursday nights sometimes, and that gets people like ready for bed. So you can deep dive into that. I love hot power fusion, which is another vein of yoga, I guess you could say, which is based off of Bikram or 26 and 2, which is a super hot yoga. So the first 20 minutes of that class, you're holding a lot of balancing postures and breathing really deep, and that's the challenge, like standing still in a hot room and balancing. And then you get more into your power flow. So I did a little training for that. And then there's also sculpt. So there's like so many different niches you can fall into.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, but it sounds like you wanted to like kind of like test everything out and build like a really good foundation.
Right. I think it's good to be well versed.
Yeah.
But I think my like favorites or my niche would be hot power fusion or sculpt. But I like being able to kind of jump in and teach all different formats so I can stay well rounded.
I did hot yoga a few times, and I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't know how hard it was going to be. I wish actually there was a camera on me when I was doing it, because I got annihilated. It was so hard and it was so hot. But when it was done, I felt amazing.
Right.
I don't know why I don't do it anymore. I mean, I only did it a few times. I think I was not intimidated, but like, I think it was, I don't know. I think it's just something like you got to build the habit. And because like when I think back about it, like it did feel amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many good benefits.
Yeah.
But it's that consistency.
Yeah.
And you just develop that tolerance to it almost. And the heat doesn't feel like anything the more you show up and breathe through it.
Yeah. Do you think, I got to imagine it can be intimidating walking into a yoga studio for the first time, because, I mean, one, if you're new to it,
right,
like to the practice, what do you say to somebody who's like, I've always wanted to try it, but I'm just like, whether they want to admit it or not, like they're intimidated about it?
Yeah, I say don't stress. Like this is a place where you don't need to be stressed. Even if it's your first time, no one is judging you. Like I really mean it when I'm like, if you just want to hang out on your mat and breathe and listen to some good music, to me that's yoga. Like you're connected with people, you're getting out of your house and just taking a moment to reset.
Yeah.
And that's all I care about, is giving like a safe space to people that just want to get out. And you'll see yourself grow the more consistent you are. Like maybe you try something new. If you fall out, just laugh it off. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. Like we're here to grow, and this is the perfect place to do it. It's a supportive environment. We're always open to like new students asking us questions and just giving them tips and tricks so they feel supported. You don't have to be flexible to do yoga. That's like what we hear all the time. Like, oh, the heat's intimidating, I'm not flexible. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be.
Heat makes you flexible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
So going back, sorry, I got off on a tangent there, because I probably because it's my own insecurity, like being nervous about going in. But so going back, you're in LA. You're like, I'm doing this thing. I'm going back to Buffalo. What maybe, I'm sure you had been coming back to Buffalo and kind of like scouting the scene, so to speak. Because, there's a good amount of yoga studios here.
Right.
So there's competition. Mm-hmm. What was it that when you assessed the scene, even having respect for other owners, like what was something that like, you're like, hey, I can do this differently? What was it? Like your unique value proposition.
I think having like a beat-based sculpt was something that I couldn't find here, and enough of a challenge in that yoga sculpt scene. Mm-hmm. And then also the hot power fusion class that I offer, I couldn't find something comparable around here. Mm-hmm. That was intense in terms of heat and focus.
Yeah.
Maybe I found a studio where the heat was there, but that specific format wasn't offered, mm-hmm. or vice versa. A similar format was offered, but I didn't feel like I was hot enough.
Yeah.
And then that community event aspect, I feel like it's starting to happen more and more over the past year, but there wasn't somewhere where I could go and work out and make friends and go to an event outside of the studio, I felt like.
Okay.
So just being able to offer that in the community was something I wanted to do, specifically in Clarence, because that's where I'm from, and just being able to bring that to that area was important to me.
Can you talk more about the community event aspect? Because you mentioned that a number of times, and I know you guys do a lot in the community. I'd love for you to talk more about that.
Yeah, so I think giving our clients an offering of something more than just a studio with 20 or 25 people into it is we have these events outside. So it really stuck with me. Last summer, we did our first like big outdoor event, which was a summer solstice event. And that was just 3 months after we opened, and we had almost 70 people, maybe 80 people show up in the town park for this summer solstice yoga in the park event. And I was like, okay, like people actually care about what we're doing and they're getting something out of this class. And we were able to connect with other local businesses. So we partnered with Fresh Catch, which is, they had like acai bowls after class. So being able to tie in cool ways to bring in other, local businesses was something that I thought was working well for us. So that was like the first big one, summer solstice. And then we partnered with Nickel City Canine Yoga or Canine Rescue for puppy yoga. And I was like, people love puppies and yoga. Another outdoor event in the fall with Clarence Hollow Chamber Association. So they had Hollow Fest. So that was the puppy yoga outside there. Over 100 people showed up. So being able to bring people together was really inspiring. And it was more than just a studio at that point. We had like a body positivity class in the studio where we partnered with this vendor, Booze Beads. Her name's Shauna. And so she makes really cute waist beads. Oh, cool. And all the girls love them. So that was fun just to like bring more than just the yoga. It's now you have cute jewelry and things like that. And being able to partner with our own clients who have their own businesses. One of our clients, Sam, she makes like paint on nails. So we had her do a little pop-up event where she had her press on nails for sale. So to me, it's just important that it's more than the workout. It's connecting with people that want to have their own business, that want to be creative, and just bringing people together. And so that's why we're doing these like Flex Friday events where some of them are smaller, some of them are big events, but just giving more than yoga to the community.
Why is connecting people so important to you?
I think people want to be a part of something. Especially after COVID, people, I think, were so isolated then. But I feel it in the sense of I moved to LA. So when I was new out there, I was looking for a community and I felt like I found that in my yoga family out there. And then even moving back home, like I haven't lived here in over 10 years. So to come back to where I grew up, I'm still a little bit disconnected. So being able to get people together that are like-minded is important to me. I think that's how you grow, like surround yourself with people that inspire you, and people need connection. Yeah, for sure. I agree. So you've been open for a year. So let's go back to like the days before you opened. Were you scared? I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, I was excited. Definitely scared, but more pumped with adrenaline and excitement, I think, than anything. Just to like see what happened. What when you think back about it, and I'll say that I feel this way. I'm like, I should have been more scared, but it was probably good that I wasn't. Did you ever think about that? Meaning like, oh my God, I've learned so much. There's so much I didn't know. If I would have known all this, I probably would have been a little bit more nervous. I mean, I feel like I've learned so much on the fly in the past year, and maybe if I knew all the obstacles I'd have to face, I could have backed down. So I think, ignorance is bliss on some level there. But I'm proud I did what I did, It's come together really well. Yeah, and it sounds like you have a good support system, but, you're the driving force. So, when those doors open, what was that like to start? Like, and kind of what do you think are the biggest lessons you've learned in year one, like as a business owner? I think just keep going. Like you're going to have stressful days and days where you question if this is making sense. I think finding that balance, like I talked about earlier, of resting, like making sure you're eating properly and, staying on your routine. I teach 6 a.m. and 7:30 at night. So finding the time to eat before class is important. Like basic things you have to stay true to, and just keep going. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and course correct as you go. And just be humble, willing to learn, and willing to network and meet other people because people want to help one another. I've met a lot of really cool people over the past year. That is very true. Especially here. Entrepreneurs, like business owners, are really, really helpful here. Everyone understands how hard it is. Exactly. What do you think has been the hardest part? I think finding that work-life balance because I control my work schedule. So setting aside time to like unplug and turn off is is hard sometimes.
Yeah. How do you, like, especially as a business owner, how do you define work-life balance? Like, what does that mean to you?
As long as I have time to, go out with my friends, my family, sleep, eat, take care of my dog, like a healthy balance, like you would at a 9 to 5, as close to that as you can. 40 hours of working is not usually what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But finding that balance when you can.
Yeah.
Just to disconnect.
It sounds like obviously things are going really well. I mean, you just opened, so you had your first studio in Clarence. You just opened another one in Orchard Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did you make the decision to open one in Orchard Park? And like, this is a whole new thing, like having 2 studios now.
Right.
Like, is it still kind of like, I'm just pushing through and going to figure this out on the fly? Or is it like, I'm a little bit more methodical this time?
A little bit more methodical this time. I think we've learned in the past year what's working well and what doesn't, and becoming more organized with our like systems in terms of hiring, in terms of how we run a class, customer service, who handles what, like growing the team and giving more like delegation in terms of roles. So a bit more of a strategy, I would say, 1 year down.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's going to be learning as I go a lot. It's my first time now having 2 underneath me. So I'm going to learn as I go. But
is delegating hard for you?
Yeah, it is.
Are you I mean, I feel like for most business owners, it's very hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Because I know what I want, and then being able to put that into words and get someone to do it that way is not always, easy.
Yeah.
And I think as a business owner, you can say, like, I can try to explain it to someone, or I can just do it myself. But there comes a point where you have to pass it off because you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
And preventing burnout at all costs is like what I'm about.
Yeah.
So even if it's not completely a 10 out of 10, let's take a 9 out of 10 and pass it off if we can.
Yeah, there's a lot of studies on that. I mean, they actually even say if someone can do it 80% of your capability, you should be delegating it. I think that's also too, right, the importance of like good systems and processes and good communication. And that's how you can like control. I mean, really, if you think about it, what is delegation all about? Trust.
Exactly.
It's hard,
yeah.
right? Because again, like you have it, you know how it needs to be done.
Right.
And again, you're right. You don't want to burn out, but also you want to grow.
Right.
And you can't grow if Lexi's doing everything,
it's just one person, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've had a really good team come together over the past year, and being able to kind of give them more responsibility as we've grown has been very nice.
So you mentioned that, obviously throughout the first year, you figured out more about like how to hire and like, how to go through that process. Hiring's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your biggest lessons have been in the hiring process?
My biggest lessons,
or maybe something that you've gotten better at.
Knowing what I'm looking for in an instructor.
Yeah.
I think an audition is crucial to really see them teach, to see them like hold space in a room, to move with music is really important. And making sure they have the availability.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Well, so I like, it's interesting, right? Because we have very different businesses, but you having them actually like teach a class and observing them is super important.
Yeah.
We, like in all of our roles, no matter what it is, there are some sort of test, like in the hiring funnel to test you on the skills that we're looking for, right? But I've actually even thought about, because I've read like people doing this, and not, again, in a professional services environment where you bring people on board for a day and they spend a day with you.
Yeah. And
even though they're not going to really know how to do what we're asking them to do, most likely, kind of seeing if they fit in. Are they going to fit in with the people? Like, if you put them in some challenging situations, like how do they deal with that?
Right.
But it's interesting now, because now I'm learning, like, I'm like, maybe it's a little bit easier than I thought. Is that normal for yoga studios to do, or is that just something that you decided
That's
to do?
how I've been hired.
Okay.
So I think it's normal. I've heard other people haven't had to do auditions for different places they've worked. So I think it just depends.
Okay.
But I think it's important. I think you can tell a lot in the first 15 minutes of someone teaching how they can, own a space.
Yeah.
But to your point too, we implemented now having our instructors like shadow a class before they start working for us, because our class flips, like we have 30 minutes in between one class to the other. And so it can become chaos because people are coming for their next class. Other people are leaving. People are trying to check in, mat rentals. So it becomes a little bit insane.
Yeah.
So having a new hire kind of see that chaos and being able to have that customer service, if there's somebody looking for the locker room or needing help with props, just seeing how that works is good to have the new hire, I guess, see.
That is
Make sure they want to be a part of.
Yeah.
part
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah. I think that's honestly one of the hardest parts about running a business is hiring. Because, culture is everything, and you have to be relentless in like your defense of your culture. How would you describe your culture like amongst like your team?
Really welcoming, really fun spirited. Just fun to be around. People want to help each other. People want to grow. People want to bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
Really dedicated. They show up for all of our events. They bring inspiring ideas to the table. So I think we have a really healthy team dynamic that's open-minded and wants to grow.
Are your instructors going to cross over between locations now? Because that's always a thing in business where, and it's good because like these, I mean, obviously Buffalo is small, so like
Right.
these places are close to one another. But like as you expand, it's it's always so important to make sure that like even when you're not there, right, that, like that level of like excellence or like that bar that you've set like is always met,
Maintained.
Yeah. Are you having the same people, or how did you approach kind of opening the new one?
Yeah, so a lot of our instructors are going to cross between. So
Yeah.
I'll be there. Another instructor, Lauren, she's really popular on our Clarence location. She's from the South Towns.
Okay.
She's there a lot now.
She's pumped about that.
She's pumped.
Yeah,
Super close
yeah,
commute for
yeah.
her. And then we have Tressa, who teaches sculpt at 6 a.m. at Clarence. She'll be there on Tuesday nights at OP. So probably 4 or 5 of my instructors. Maddie's out there. So people are crossing over, but then also hiring a few new ones. But I think it's important to maintain that same morale, that same vibe that you feel when you walk in, that you're welcomed and you're getting what you get at both locations equally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's critical. It's tough. I have a lot of friends that have like law firms with offices in different places.
Yeah.
And the key is always the people.
Yeah.
Right. Especially if you've established like your systems and like how you're going to run everything. The whole key are finding the great people that can kind of live and breathe your culture.
Right.
So what do you think in like the first year? There's got to be things that didn't go well. There have to be.
Yeah.
Like what is the one thing that like when I say that you're like, ugh, that one thing, like, yeah, I wish that didn't happen, but or maybe you don't mind that it happened because you learned from it. What do you think is like you've been your biggest struggle or like your biggest setback in the first year?
I think I don't know. It's a great question.
You have like any people that are no longer with you that were working with you that maybe you're like, hey, I wish, not that they're a bad person, but it wasn't the right fit?
I think in that hiring process, learning along the way the best way to find the right fit.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I encourage people who apply to take classes at Flex and see how they feel in their body and mind after they leave the studio.
Yeah.
To shadow our instructors and make sure that they want to be at a front desk and get to know the clients. I think that face-to-face connection from student to instructor is really important.
Yeah.
So kind of honing in on that a little bit more was something I worked on in the past few months.
Yeah.
Because I'm really proud of our team now, but
Oh, I know. Like, trust me, I've been through it. Yeah. It's very hard. Like, and I think that's what it is, right? It's like, most people are good people.
Yeah.
But if the role, if the fit isn't there,
right?
There's like the saying, right? Like right person, right seat. And if those things don't match up, it can be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And that's always tough because like, that's like the one thing that'll like keep me up at night, if knowing that like we have to part ways with somebody, like because usually it's like a good person, it just isn't working out.
Right.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. Being mindful on that.
Yeah. Like that's why I think like so much attention to like hiring and making sure the right fit is important. Even if it's for selfish reasons because you don't want to have to let them go.
Exactly.
It's baked in there. So obviously, health and wellness is really important to you. You've talked about that. How do you approach that? Like, are you the type of person that like goes to bed the same time every night, gets up the same time every morning? Like, do you stick to a certain diet? Like, what does like health and wellness mean to you, like on top of yoga? Because there's no way, like, I don't care what type of working out you're doing, especially as you get older, if you're not being really mindful about sleep and rest and nutrition, like you can't work out.
Right.
It doesn't work.
I think everything in moderation and a healthy balance. I'm not super strict on any specific, way of life. I try to get 8 hours of sleep every night. Are there nights where that doesn't happen? Of course. But really staying hydrated is crucial for me when I'm in the hot room all day. Being mindful of my recovery. So like getting a massage often, cold plunging, meditating on my own, all of those healthy habits I think are important to stay on track for my own, discipline.
Yeah.
And then just like I said, finding the balance in the work life to like unplug, be fully away from the business, present with my friends, with my family, so that I'm not burnt out.
How do you, I'm curious, like how do you stay present when you're with friends and family? Like, let's say, like, I'll paint a picture for you, right? You're with your family or some friends, and there's classes going on.
Yeah.
But you're not there. Like, do you just subconsciously do it, or are you like consciously working on like staying present with the people you're with and not thinking about your business?
I think I have to consciously do it sometimes. Like my phone's always on do not disturb, whether
Smart.
it's like I'm teaching a class, I don't want someone calling and disturbing my class, or I'm outside the studio and don't want to be disturbed. So it's just like always on that. Or just like having the distraction completely away from me. Like I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'm not going to have my phone nearby, my laptop's closed or not with me. Just trying to fully be there and remind myself like this is my time to just be.
Oh, yeah, we live in an age where like being present is like really tough for people, especially for younger people, I think. I mean, and it's because of our phones, right? It's like everyone's glued to them. I got to imagine that a phone going off in a yoga class is a huge no-no.
It's a huge no-no.
How pissed do you get when that happens?
It's very frustrating. Yeah.
What happens when like someone's phone goes off?
It's tough because I try to be calm about it because I understand like emergencies happen, but we have 1 hour together where the goal is to like be free from distraction and be in that space for yourself and no one else.
Yeah.
And so I try to announce like usually at the beginning of my class, or we posted like on our FAQs or even on like our Instagram studio etiquette that, it's a phone-free place. I like when girls, take their pictures and post on Instagram at the studio. So of course I encourage that. But when you're in your class, it's the time to be present with yourself. So I try to, be calm about it. But if it happens a lot throughout class, I will come up and just be like, hey, if you got an emergency, you can go to the locker room and handle it and, take care of it. But it's distracting when you're teaching, and especially the room can be dimly lit. So then a light's popping up. I get thrown off. Other people are kind of looking around. So we try to keep that to a minimum.
I picture like a scenario where like, I don't know if this is true, I'm just making it up in my head, where like everyone's bags are up against the wall and someone's phone is going off and they know it's their ring and they're just like having a panic attack, like, don't look at me, don't say anything to me. That was like, I went to a comedy show with my dad and he's terrible about turning his phone off. And have you ever been to one of these shows where like they give you the lock bags?
Oh my gosh.
Where like, there's a bag, it goes in, it locks, and then you carry it and you cannot use your phone. So you can't take pictures or whatever.
No.
But it'll still ring. And so we put it on, he puts the lock on and we get like all the way to the seats. I'm like, shit. I guarantee your ringer's on. So we had to go all the way back on and find some guy to unlock it, and sure as hell was on.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that would have been so embarrassing, like sitting like close to the comedian. And then
it's just...
So I get anxiety about stuff like that. Yeah. I'm a rule follower. Like, so
we like that.
I don't want to deal with that.
We can have you at Flex.
Okay. So when people are in classes, I'm picturing like a really serene environment where like, again, assuming no phones, like you're unplugged, you're there to like focus, to like get into like this rhythm and like just obviously like to feel better, focus on yourself for an hour. Again, we started talking about this in the beginning. I think like people can get like, especially if you're new to anything, same with like lifting weights but especially like yoga, like intimidated, by a class. what do you think should be like, if someone new is coming to your studio, what are like the classes they should start with? And like, how do you like go about knowing what to do? Is it like, do you just follow the instructor? Do you like look at people around you without being creepy? Like, how does that work?
So we have heated and non-heated classes. If you're super new and don't want heat, I would start with a similar or a beginner class. So a foundations of vinyasa is our like beginner unheated vinyasa class. That's going to be a little bit faster. So you're still moving one breath to one movement, but no added heat, and you're really honing in on the foundations of what a vinyasa style class is. Yeah. If you want something even more slowed down, you could do restorative or yin. So those are both unheated too, but restorative is the one I was talking about earlier. That's like more meditative. So you're using all of those props to fully relax and just reset your mind. Yeah. Yin is more of like a melty stretch. You're like getting deep into your fascia, so kind of draining your lymph. Fully on the ground the whole time, so not as fast paced of a class. You're holding these poses for 3 to 5 minutes. So deep stretching. That sounds hard. But that's somewhat of a beginner level. It's still going to be hard because you're sitting there for a long time and it's a deep stretch. But those are good for a beginner practice, I would say, because they're unheated and they're a bit gentle if you want it to be. If you want a heated class, you can come to a heated vinyasa or a heated yoga sculpt, and I just encourage you to listen to your body and do what feels good. And if you need a break, take a break.
How hot does it get?
It can be pushing 100.
Damn. Okay. How do you heat up the room?
We have infrared heating panels. So there's a little dial on the side of the wall, and you just crank it up, and then the heating panels turn on in the ceiling. And then it just starts pumping through there. And then there's also like a normal thermostat that you push up to 90 and the regular room temp goes up.
Man. How many people do you usually have in a class?
20 to 24 at Clarence. Okay. A little bit bigger at Orchard Park, so we'll see there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. This is interesting. I'm going to make Brad go with me. Let's see what he's got.
Come by.
Yeah, Brett, you can film it. It'd be very embarrassing
a follow-up.
For me especially.
Yeah. I'll be there filming.
Yeah. For sure. So when you think about, you're in this position now as a business owner in the community. You're working with people. Like let's just start off like with the studio who, are coming there to better themselves. I got to imagine you've seen some pretty cool transformations, right? Yeah. Is there like a story that sticks out to you, or maybe somebody that you're like, man, like I've seen like how hard you've worked and how far you've come, and this is why I do what I do?
All the time.
That's cool.
Several different people. I have one client, Tori, who started working with me, who just wanted to deepen her strength, like in her hip flexors. And we started working last May, I would say. So almost a whole year together coming up. And what started as just strengthening the hips became, I want to work on crow pose, which is like a foundational arm balance that I teach in some of my vinyasa classes. So we started working towards that pose. She got it. Okay, now she wants to work on a headstand. Started working drills to get there. So seeing that progression week after week, month over month has been super cool. Seeing her come to the studio more grounded, more present as well, I can definitely appreciate. So that's like a really good win. I have a couple other private clients that have had like more personal wins too. So hearing their stories has been really, really fulfilling and rewarding.
You say private clients, so like a one-on-one like private class?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gotta be hard too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just probably push the shit out of people.
It depends, because some of them are looking for different things. Yeah.
That's good though. That's cool. It's like personal
hard.
training. Yeah, it makes sense. I never even thought about that. Yeah. That's cool. Actually, you just made me realize. I forgot about this. My sister used to teach yoga outside of New York City, and she used to. I'm now remembering this. She used to teach one-on-one classes some NBA players.
Wow.
And I used to laugh thinking about my little sister teaching these guys that were like 6'8".
Yeah.
But like, it's pretty cool, I guess. Do you ever work with any athletes?
I've worked with some athletes on the West Coast, especially. There were some out there. I don't know if you know the old NFL player from the Bills, Bucky Brooks.
Do you know Bucky?
He's like a sports analyst now. He was a client for a while through Core Power. And then a couple other private clients out there.
That's cool.
So it's been cool.
Do you do you have a preference? Like, do you enjoy like working with someone like from the ground up and building them up, or do you get more? Is it easier for you to like just to work with someone who like already knows what they're doing, or don't you really care?
I like to see a beginner learn that they have the ability to do it in their adult life, get more flexible. It's nice to have someone that has, their own practice already established, but I think it's rewarding to see someone come from nothing and, find that foundation.
So, again, your studio was looking like on social media. You do a lot in the community. I know you're involved in the Clarence Chamber of Commerce, and congratulations! What is it, Entrepreneur of the Year, Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm guessing like you didn't get into this for awards, but it's got to be cool.
Absolutely.
Like, what was that like? Or like, what are your thoughts on that?
It was such an honor.
Yeah.
I didn't know that people were like nominating me for that, so it was really cool to find that out.
Yeah.
They came into the studio one day and I thought it was just for like a chamber update, and it was like, oh, you've been recognized. And I was like, no way. I was so shocked and honored. So that was really nice to see that people see us, making traction in the community.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you going to be gunning for the Orchard Park Chamber of Commerce?
You never know. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, like put them on notice.
Put that in my calendar.
What do you think? Well, actually, I want to go back like quickly with like the community stuff, because obviously Buffalo is like a really tight knit community, and I think I know the people here really support and embrace business owners who give back. And we talked a little bit about the, why you believe people want a sense of community and being connected. But I got to imagine, it sounds like everything you're doing, this comes from maybe back when you were like a little girl, like growing up here. Where do you think this all comes from? Like wanting to help people, wanting to like bring people closer together, wanting to give back to Western New York when you didn't have to come back here. Like, where does this all come from?
I think it doesn't cost anything to be a nice person. And I know, what it can feel like when people aren't nice to you, or not welcoming at times. So being able to, allow people to feel safe and a part of something, because that's how I want to feel when I go somewhere. I think that's where it comes from, is just my past experiences and things that I want to feel in my own way, my own mental, my own body. I'm bringing that here. And it's important to me to do it where I'm in a place where I'm from. Yeah,
I think channeling emotions, whether good or bad. So like going back and saying like, hey, I remember how I felt when this person made me feel unwelcome, or I remember how this felt when I, had this failure, or I remember how this felt when, I went and helped this person. Like, it's important to like channel those and to not forget those. Right.
Yeah.
I think look, and there's nothing wrong with feeling good when you help people, right?
Right.
That's a good thing.
Course.
I think more people should think like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think when I was younger, I did like a lot of volunteer coaching too, like for Little League cheerleading. And then even in college, there was a program called Girls on the Run. Mm-hmm. So I was a coach for that with a bunch of just young girls that got together that wanted to run after school and have a little bit of curriculum behind it. So seeing how you can make a difference in like a young person's life is important to me. And I think other coaches in my life have had that impact on me. So being able to be a mentor on some level is a reason I do what I do as well.
Are there any organizations locally that you've worked with, or any causes that maybe you're more passionate or most passionate about?
I think we probably have three main causes that I try to be passionate towards. One is mental health awareness. So in May, we always do something for mental health advocates of Western New York.
Oh, cool.
And then I think kids yoga is important. So actually next Friday, we're doing a donation-based class in partnership with the Clarence Lions Club.
Oh, awesome.
So they're raising money to create an inclusive kids playground in Clarence.
Oh, cool.
So being able to give back to younger kids is important to me. And then the third pillar is animals. I love dogs and cats. So we always do puppy yoga in partnership with Nickel City Canine. I think dog rescues, mental health, and kids are really the most important to us.
That's awesome. Yeah, we do a lot with mental health too. We work with an organization called Compure.
Okay.
They're amazing. Luckily the stigma on mental health is pretty much gone. Like people, there used to be such a huge stigma around it. Nobody talked about mental health awareness, and luckily it's on the other side of that now too.
Yeah.
As on a lighter note, what is like the weirdest or funniest thing you've seen happen in a yoga studio? It doesn't have to be yours, like, and you don't have to say where it happened.
Weirdest or funniest? I have one.
Yeah, there's definitely one you have.
Okay,
Like, you're like, should I say it or not?
Yeah, we have this running joke at the studio that is, I'll like pop in for a class that some of my instructors are teaching, and maybe they get a little nervous because I'm in the class, which they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And we're teaching a lot, so you can sometimes say random stuff. One move is clamshells. And so you're on like your side and you're like lifting your legs up and down, kind of like a clamshell. Mm-hmm. And our one instructor was teaching, and she was just calling them clam chowders. And so like now it's like the running joke about like we're gonna have clam chowder for our next event, and it's just people laughed it off, but I guess it was funny in the moment because you can see how real it was. People were like, whatever. But the girl was embarrassed, and now it's just a running joke. So that's kind of silly. Yeah, I don't know. Funny, random things all the time.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than cell phones going off, what are the other things someone should never do in a yoga class?
Don't leave at the end. Like, just wait till the end of class or leave. Like, let the instructor know if you have to leave 10 minutes before. But, like, at the end of class, it's called your shavasana. Like, we work all the way for the 55 minutes to get into this meditative state in the dark to just be with yourself for a few minutes before we go on to the rest of our day.
Sure.
So leaving during that is like super disruptive because some people can be like in a completely like meditative state, and then you're grabbing all your stuff, opening the door. So just stay till the end and then get out. We try to respect everyone's time, start and finish on time. So stay. That's my pet peeve.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. So you're 1 year in, you have 2 studios. What's your vision for Flex? Like, where do you want to take this, or where do you think, or maybe a better way of asking it is like, where do you hope to be in 5 years? What does it look like?
Continue to grow and refine what we offer. So keeping that intimate experience with the client, having them feel like they're a part of something and more than just a yoga class. So whether it's continuing in the event space, continuing to refine our class formats and the offerings. I think also just being a mentor to new teachers. There's a lot of people that want to teach yoga and want a space for that. So being able to give them that space to grow as an instructor. Even in May, we're doing a sculpt workshop. So I have a bunch of people coming in to learn how to teach sculpt, and being able to offer that more in the future and teach other people how to teach is something I'd look forward to.
So I'll say this, you talk about growth with grace, but I know it's hard, right? There's a lot behind it. What motivates you to want to keep getting better, to keep refining this, to keep teaching people, to keep giving back to the community? Like, what is it? What is ultimately pushing you to do this?
I think the community in itself, seeing them receive it is pushing me. And then I love what I'm doing. Like, I couldn't be happier. As much as it's probably more work than I've ever taken on in my life, it's enjoyable in the sense that I'm creating it. I get to choose how I want to operate. So being able to have that control, that creative flexibility inspires me. And then, like I said, seeing the community respond and grow and heal themselves through their movement, through connection with other people, that keeps me going. People want to see what's next. What event will we do next? What more can they be a part of? So being able to continue to cater to that community.
All right, last question. Someone comes to you and says, hey, I want to start a business, or I have this idea for a business. Give me a piece of advice. What's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's thinking about starting their own business? I
say just start. You can spiral on how to perfect something forever, but like I said, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, just one foot in front of the other and course correct. But just get it started. A rough draft is better than nothing.
Great advice.
Go for it.
That's great advice. All right. So where can people find you? If people want to take your classes, they want to follow you on social media, where do they find you?
Yeah. Flex Yoga Buffalo, Instagram, TikTok. We have our own app. So you can just download the app, Flex Yoga Buffalo, and search up our schedule there, or the website is what I was going to say, is you can book on there. We're right across from the high school in Clarence on Main Street. or in Orchard Park in the Quaker Crossing Plaza.
Awesome. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.